State regime media, which calls itself Fox News, knows the game is over. They watch as Donald Trump threatens Canada with new ridiculous behavior, and Trump just beclowns himself. And state regime media is like, we tried to prop you up with the propaganda, but we can't help you when you act like such an utter pathetic traitor and fool. So what are they doing on state regime media right now as Donald Trump is just crashing out? I mean, this is an epic, historic fall like we've never seen before, Donald. So on state regime media, Fox, it's just getting weird. It's getting freaky, folks, to borrow a phrase from the MAGA and Trump propaganda machine. So you've got Laura Ingraham brings on Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, and they're like, do you love that El Sayed prances around in those tight black shirts and he opens up his legs and he does that man spreading? You see how he opens up his legs? And, you know, he seems like he's always at the gym, and he's a very handsome, good-looking guy. Everything I said, just so you know, is word for word what went down in the conversation. There's no exaggeration or hyperbole about what I just said and what Laura Ingraham said to Lara Trump. This is what they're doing on state regime media. Fox, here, play this clip.
Laura, I love how El Sayed is prancing around in his tight black t-shirt, kind of the Anderson Cooper black t-shirt. You know, I don't know why I have to wear a black t-shirt and you're cool. So, you know, you're fit, Laura. You like to work out, go to the gym. But he seems like he's always in the gym. Like he's man spreading when he sits there, his legs are, I don't know, but he's trying to be like too cool for school. And he's kind of a small guy, like short guy. It's fine. He's no big deal. He's a good looking guy. But it always feels like an act. But with Trump, that's who he always has been. I mean, I've known him for more than 30 years. That's who he is. That's how he's always been.
And Laura Ingraham then goes, look, of course, Donald Trump and the White House wishes their numbers were higher. Yeah, they wish the Iran war was solved, but don't fall for what is a giant exercise in deflection by the other side, because, you know, things are not as bad as they seem. She's not even buying what she's selling, and she's their main propagandist. Here, play this clip.
Now, look, of course, the White House wishes his numbers were higher and that the Iran war was solved or resolved, but don't fall for what is a giant exercise in deflection. Plus, don't discount the number of voters who deeply admire and appreciate the president.
So then they bring on Dana Perino, one of the Fox hosts, who's like, all right, I know it's rough, but I'm hearing that maybe by Labor Day, Trump is going to make an incredible deal with Canada. This is all trust the plan. In, you know, a week and a half, 2 weeks, the deal, it's going to be exquisite. It's going to be magnificent. Just you wait. Hope is right around the corner. This is what they're selling on state regime media. Yeah, Canada's gone elbows up. They ain't putting up with any of this crap. And y'all realize how weak and pathetic and what loser behavior Trump exudes? You know how Lara and Laura were saying that El Sayed has this like masculine gym energy? Trump has some pretty freaking pathetic loser energy. Here, play this clip.
However, I would also say this. Why is this escalating now? I hate fighting with neighbors. I just want to get along. And I want Canada to treat us fairly, especially the farmers and on lumber, right? I think free and fair trade would be the way to go. I also believe this. All of this is not supposed to take place until September 8th. I have a feeling that on Labor Day, the 7th, there's going to be an agreement, some sort of like MOU that works, and the Canadians and the Americans are going to have the most wonderful, greatest trade deal ever that's unlike something you've ever seen before, and we can pretend this never happened.
Will the name stick, Tyrus?
It better.
And then I got to show you this part. So then on Hannity, they bring in this guy, Concha, and it's weird as all hell. And so Hannity's like, and Donald Trump, what he's doing with Canada, we gotta think about it. And Concha's like, and here's the thing. Here's the point. Let me give you the point. All right, tell me the point, Concha. And he's like, America decides the things. So like, we're the only player. Like, we decide the thing. Okay, what do you even mean? Are you just saying we thing over and over again? Are you doing Dr. Seuss? I read Little Jimena, Dr. Seuss. Are we doing one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish? Is that what you're doing here, Concha? Here, play this clip.
And to be fair, Canada would have no defense but for America, and they put tariffs on us to death prior to Donald Trump getting reelected.
Yes, Sean. I mean, in the end, Lake Ontario, yeah, Lake America, that makes sense, right? We saw it with the Gulf of Mexico, now the Gulf of America. Here's where we are at this point. America basically, decides things at this point. And Canada or Mexico, they're all like, bit players at this point. So, yeah, I have zero problem with Lake Ontario becoming the Lake of America at this point.
And then, as our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, says so perfectly, these weirdos come up with the craziest shit. So Trey Gowdy, former MAGA Congress member, now a host on Fox, he's like, I do like the change of the name, Lake Ontario, Lake America. He goes, but one thing concerns me here. It sounds a little bit like Hamas. And so I don't want to confuse the kids that we're now talking about Hamas. I don't want to confuse the kids that we're talking about Hamas. I genuinely have no clue what the hell you're talking about. What's even going through? We're going to confuse the kids about Hamas. How about y'all just behave normal, and Canada's an ally, and we treat allies and neighbors with respect, and y'all don't behave this way, and you don't change the name. And then Hamas, I think you're a bunch of, I truly, truly believe in my heart of heart that these MAGAs are just demented, crazy people. They're not, we've babied them. And we've allowed this craziness to be normalized. And truly, we just need to be like, these are lunatics. These are just awful, bizarre humans. And we just have to call it out. And we have to be unapologetic. I mean, watch what this guy says here. Play it.
You a vegan?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I eat steak
you
all
even
the time.
count? I think you're a vegan. You don't even count on
All
the
right,
beef conversation.
whatever, man.
I want to make you feel better. Jameson Greer is going to get this worked out before it impacts Michigan, New Hampshire, Ohio. Here's what troubles me. So it took me 12 years to remember that acronym to learn the Great Lakes. It's HOMES, right?
Oh.
All right, the O changes to A. That's close to Hamas. That's what bothers me about changing the name from Ontario to America, is how close that acronym is to Hamas.
Okay.
It's going to confuse a lot of kids. That's why I haven't made up my mind on it yet.
All right, well, hopefully we don't have to do that.
Is.
You have a great memory. I think you'll be able to figure it out.
And now let me interrupt for a minute with a quick news report, because this one really tells you a lot about the Trump administration's approach to energy and climate, and also loops in all the Trump regime corruption. In a new article called How Wind Projects Got Replaced by a $900 million Payday to a Trump Donor's Firm, the Washington Post reports that the administration reached a deal to pay German energy giant RWE $1.2 billion to abandon offshore wind leases in New York, California, and Louisiana, and instead put that money into so-called conventional energy projects like oil and gas. And $900 million of that money is now going toward RWE buying a massive liquefied natural gas project in Louisiana. Now, let's keep digging. The stake is being purchased from Stonepeak. That's a private equity firm run by billionaire Michael Durrell, who donated roughly $1 million to Trump's inaugural committee and has publicly talked about spending time around Trump's Mar-a-Lago circle. The White House and Interior Department are denying they had any role in selecting Stonepeak, and RWE says that it made the investment decision independently. But let's zoom out for a second and look at what's happening here. Offshore wind projects are being canceled. Billions of dollars are being paid out, and investment is being redirected toward fossil fuel infrastructure instead. And according to an expert quoted by the Post, this particular $900 million transaction may not even create any additional energy. It largely allows Stonepeak to reduce part of its existing investment. I wanted to highlight this because it shows the money machine and the corruption behind the attacks on clean energy, which are preventing us not only from having a cleaner environment, but also it's preventing Americans from having cleaner energy and jobs that are built with the future in mind. And that is why we need to keep calling this out. So what do you think about Trump's moves on the climate? Do you think his attacks on clean energy are rooted, at least in part, in enriching friends and allies tied to the oil and gas industry? Do you want to see the country put more of a focus on clean energy? Let me know right now in the comments. I'll be reading all of them. Okay, Ben, back to you.
I saw this, though, over here. It's fitting that Trump's renaming of Lake Ontario to Lake America now makes the Great Lakes spell shame. That's what it actually smells, not Hamas, but okay. Then Laura Ingraham brings on Mike Waltz, the ambassador to the United Nations. Very weird dude. This was the guy who was involved in the Signal chat back in May of 2025 when the U.S. surrendered to the Houthis, and Iran and the Houthis learned a lot from that. I'm sure they probably learned a lot more from the Signal chats than we've been told to believe by the regime of liars. But Mike Waltz is like, what I'm hearing, what this is really about is, Carney's doing this for the domestic politics in Canada. No, it's not. He's doing it because you attacked his country, you idiot. You, Trump regime, attacked Canada, imposed tariff, trade war, tried to take over the country. Canada retaliates, responds, doesn't take it. It's not really all that hard. Play it.
I do sense, and I'm hearing from a number of the folks in the administration that have been dealing with him, that they do think they can turn the tides on the president in the midterm by holding out on this. But it's also about their domestic politics, too. Quebec has provincial elections coming. I would be very careful if I were the prime minister that he doesn't then come back to even a worse deal after this. President Trump is not going to play politics. He is going to do exactly what I said at the top. He is going to do what's best for our economic security, which is our national security. And rather than kowtowing to China and taking a trip to go see the state of the EU, which apparently the prime minister is now going to do, look, from the Arctic all the way down to South America, we have the energy, the critical minerals, the oil, the gas, the food security that we need to be Fortress North America. To have it right here in our own Western Hemisphere, we're working incredibly well with our South American partners. We're working well with Mexico. This is about domestic politics back home for Carney, and it's not sustainable. 70 to 90% of their goods come to the United States. He can play politics in the short term. It's not sustainable in the long term.
Yeah, not gonna
and
work.
He may come back to a worse deal.
It's not gonna.
Then they bring on Tyrus. You know it's going down when they bring on Tyrus. Boss level, activated, level 10, Tyrus. Sometimes, like when he does things, like the outrage is good. Lake America, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Tyrus. Tyrus, you are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Here, play this clip.
Will the name stick, Tyrus?
It better. I like Lake America. I blame Canada for everything. South Park had it right. But sometimes it's like I like that when he does things, the outrage comes from people who their outrage doesn't matter. Didn't you learn anything when you were in Buffalo? When you tried to get a chant, the New Yorkers weren't behind you. And then she's like, New York won't stand for this. And then there was a response from the city of New York going, we're not with you. Like the people that take these opportunities to jump in, like Gavin, you're in California. Worry about California. Like you're gonna cozy up to Canada. No one in Canada can vote for you, especially now with the borders being closed. So they just take anything that Trump's name's on that they think And it works because we don't have people from Canada that we're taking sound bites from. It's irrelevant Newsom who's trying to just get hair points from Trudeau. And when he said 10, I thought he was talking about his dating life. So it's ridiculous that we're all having the time. Lake America stands. I love it.
Then you had Brett Baer having to fact check Donald Trump for writing social media posts attacking Brett Baer while Brett Baer is live on air. Brett Baer live on air. Here you go.
Jonathan Hunt did a story earlier in the show, and just moments ago, the president, I assume while flying to Texas, he's just landed there, put out a Truth Social saying, Jonathan Hunt of Fox News did particularly inaccurate report on the failing Islamic Republic of Iran. I don't want to meet. They do. In fact, they are begging to make a deal. Brett Baer should straighten out his flunkies for a change. First of all, Jonathan Hunt's not a flunky. He's a great reporter. Second of all, Mr. President, we didn't say you wanted to meet. In fact, we played a soundbite that you didn't want to meet, and there are no negotiations. We said that Treasury Secretary Bessent is hoping to meet with G20 countries to increase the pressure on Iran, and that Gulf state allies, including Qatar, are inside Tehran trying to get Iran to agree to concessions. That was what it said.
And then finally, you have Tom Emmer, MAGA Republican Congress member in leadership there. And he wants everybody to know why they're throwing this powerful event in Texas, in Dallas, September 9th and 10th, this convention, this midterm convention that nobody wants to attend, that none of the MAGA Republican Congress members in swing districts want to be at. And Tom Emmer's like, we've got a great record to run on. He goes, we're going to remind people we kept all of our promises. We saved you from communism and Marxism. We saved you from it. We did it. Mission accomplished. We did it, yo. That's what we promised. Promises made. Promises delivered. Crazy people. What are you talking about? First off, y'all are communists, like straight up. But like you're communist with price controls that help foreign countries. You're like, okay, we're going to do price controls, but let's help frozen foreign beef imports and screw over our own cattle ranchers. Oh, yeah, let's do it, Donald. Anyway, here, play this clip. I could keep going on, but you get it. Play this clip of Tom Emmer on state regime. Let's play it.
Great question. But I think regardless of what the other media outlets that would like to try and convince Americans that we're not motivated, Republicans are motivated, and Donald Trump is motivated. The president is the one who goes out and literally performs these rallies. He'll be down in Dallas for this first of a kind mid-term in convention. And the whole idea is to remind people how hard we all worked to try and stop the advance of Marxism and socialism and anarchy that is now the left. With our great president, Donald J. Trump. And I'm very confident that Republicans understand, and all Americans, by the way.
I told you, they're cracking. I ain't joking. For reals, for reals. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million. Thanks for watching. Have you ordered WTF America, the book I wrote with my brothers? It comes out October 20th, but pre-order it now. Thanks for watching.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.